Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Review Board, where we're going to be talking to you about what's new in the world of comics. What did we like? What are our thoughts? And do we agree or disagree with the Twitterverse? So, Jules, what's our first book going to be tonight?
Okay, first book. I have to give the first book to Superior Spider-Man number 12. So I really miss Peter Parker. I love Peter Parker, but I actually am really enjoying Ock right now because he doesn't have anything holding him back. Whereas like Peter Parker, Aunt May, MJ, he has to be careful all the time. And Doc Ock is just like, let me at him, give me your permission, so I don't know. This was my favorite of this whole week. I loved it.
Yeah,
I think
like when he's talking to Jay Jonah, and Jonah's like, Jonah's like, I want you to kill Smythe, and Spider-Man's just like, just give me the word.
Yeah, he's like, he's like, are you? Yeah. Because I will.
As long as he's not getting in trouble for it.
Yeah, and he doesn't. There's lives in the balance that need to be saved, and he's just like, I have a job to do, and I'm going to do it. And as much as I love the good guy always being good and never, always saving multiple lives before, before doing what has to be done, I just really enjoy this. And, at first I was kind of like, Ock, but I'm actually really starting to like Doc Ock to be Spider-Man. I'm probably going to get a lot.
I absolutely agree with that. I think that I will say that Spider-Man has never been better than it is right now. I think that there's been great stories of Spider-Man, but I think since Slott has started writing Spider-Man and on into Superior Spider-Man, it has never been better. And all the people that want to rip on Superior Spider-Man and Dan Slott and give Slott grief are insane. There have been, think about how many cornball Spider-Man stories there are from way back. I mean, you got to admit they're great if you look at them from an historical point of view. But by today's standards, what was the guy, the disco villain that he fought in the 70s, stuff like that. That's the corniest stuff ever. I think what Slott's doing is he's making Spider-Man for this generation, and it's more hardcore. And I love it. I love the Dr. Octopus Spider-Man as well. I think it's awesome. I love that he's just so cold, and he's more logical, and he looks at Peter Parker's life because he remembers it all, and he's like, this was inefficient. Scratch that. We're not doing that anymore. Look, he's just going through a catalog of Peter Parker's life and destroying it piece by piece.
I love it because it's like, with Peter, we were always getting these tragedies. We were always getting him feeling these tragic moments. Oh, if I do this is going to happen, or that's going to happen. We're not getting that with Ock. Ock doesn't care about the consequences as long as it gets done, as long as the job gets done. Because, it's like Peter, you always saw Peter kind of holding back with his powers. He always kind of held back. Ock ain't holding back. I mean, he punches the Scorpion's jaw off. He blinds the Vulture. He kills a guy. He
almost kills Boomerang.
Almost kills Boomerang. And what I love about it, the two things I love about it is, one, within story, I love that it's like that Jonah is now loving Spider-Man. I mean, how many decades? How many decades did we get with Jonah calling Spider-Man a menace? That he's a vigilante. We don't need him in our town. And now Jonah is like the biggest Spider-Man fanboy in New York City. And
you notice it happens it happens during Doc Ock's reign. He's getting closer with Spider-Man during Doc's reign as Spider-Man, showing like how his personality, is more attracted to a villainous guy who's just cold and ruthless than it was to Peter Parker all those years. Like he just couldn't stand Peter Parker. Even though Spider-Man saved just countless people, was like the best guy in the world, J. Jonah Jameson hates him. The minute it switches to Doc Ock, he's like, oh, this is my guy. This ruthless, cold guy that almost beat 2 college kids to death for pranking him on the web show.
And the one thing I really love about the story arc that they're doing is the tie-in to Spider Island. And I absolutely loved the Spider Island, the story arc that Dan Slott wrote, and I know, and Humberto Ramos did the art for the Spider Island, and I loved it. But I love that they're tying so much into that story arc with Smythe, and they even show the beginning of this issue when Jonah's wife shoves him out of the way, and she takes the death blow.
Yeah.
And the other thing I really loved is how they're talking about how Spider-Man goes, I've called the Avengers, but then they're like, wait a minute, aren't the Avengers out in space somewhere? Aren't they like not on the planet right now? But I love the fact that he knows all these villains. He's been with these villains for years. So he knows them so well, and he just cuts them down. He's just, where Parker would make fun of them based off of their costume or their power, Ock's making fun of them because he knows them. He knows they're stupid. They can't get the job done. The only thing that I think is weird is the tarantula toe. That's the only thing that's always been weird about this new Spider-Man is the tarantula toe. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
I kind of like it.
Well, what's that on his? It looks like it's a nipple on it, on his toe.
It does.
He got a wart.
He's got a wart. The suit got a wart.
Spider wart.
Oh, great. We had bat mite. Now we're going to have spider wart.
But, yeah, so that was my first pick.
Chief, what's your first one?
Well, that was one of mine, but that was further down my list here. My first, I'll save my top one for last, but I will go with Fantastic Four number 9. I got this one because actually I got this for I started getting Fantastic Four I think when for the Age of Ultron I started getting it regularly when they did the first Age of Ultron tie-in, and I've been getting it since. And I think this is back to the Fantastic Four that I remember as a kid. Like the four of them: the Human Torch, the Thing, Mr. Fantastic, the Invisible Woman. It's not like in the in the 80s when She-Hulk came in and the Thing left and the team was all smart. It's back to the weird, super science-y Fantastic Four of the 60s that I loved. But more updated, of course, with like cooler science and stuff. But this one was really cool because they went back. Reed Richards takes Ben back to the past to see if he was really the cause of Doctor Doom being disfigured and becoming Doctor Doom. And there's a nice debate in this about how Reed tries to explain to him that he saw that Doom's math was off in the experiment himself, and he never said anything. So he said that he could easily be just as responsible as the Thing in causing him to become Doctor Doom. So they go back to see what really happened. And I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but I think you'll come to find out that he would have become Doctor Doom either way, no matter what would have happened. I think that was the basic thing of it, but I won't make any specific spoilers there. But it is a great issue, and I love that they go and the other Doctor Dooms from the other different timelines are all in because they're in like Reed and Ben are in some kind of alternate dimension thing that Reed Richards built to make them invisible in the past, so they could interact with the past and go and see these moments without being seen or heard. And they get there, and there's all these Doctor Dooms that are there too in the same kind of cloak field that are all standing around to watch Doom become Doom, because they're all that egocentric. They want to see the birth of their moment in history. So there's like 50 Doctor Dooms standing around in there with them when they get there, and it's pretty funny. So like how it goes down, but this was a really great issue.
So that is Crisis of Infinite Doctor Dooms. Trademark. Crisis of Infinite Doctor Dooms. Trademark.
And if you'll notice right here, you remember in the Amalgam universe?
Yeah.
when they had the Doctor Strange fate.
Yeah.
It looks like Doctor Strange fate on the cover right there.
Yeah, that does.
I don't know if you can see it very good.
Yeah, I can see it. That does.
But he's definitely got the he's got the Eye of Agamotto, and it looks like he's wearing the Dr. Fate helmet. And he's got the Doctor Strange cloak on. But yeah, I think it is. I think actually, well, from the Amalgam universe, he would be from a different dimension. I guess he could have came there, but I don't know what he would have to do with Doom, though. He wasn't part Doctor Doom. He was Doctor Strange and Dr. Fate mixed together, so that's kind of weird. Unless that's from some comic back in the 90s I never read or something. I don't know. Could be.
Yeah.
But that was my first pick.
That was my second.
Oh, did you read it, Jules?
Actually. I did read it, and I loved it. My favorite part, though, was when Reed Richards and the Thing are talking about no matter what would have happened, like, he couldn't change it. It's just, he's still going to be Dr. Doom no matter what. So, I love that, friendship there. Like, that always, every time I read that, I'm like, oh, I'm going to cry, but I don't. But yeah, this is such a good issue. I've really enjoyed this so far. And yeah, that was funny with all those Dr. Doom standing there. It was hilarious.
Yeah, I think that was kind of where you kind of realize. I mean, they were all kind of jerks. Like all of them. There wasn't. You'd think out of all those timelines, at least one of them would be a good dude, but not one of them. They're all just egotists, and they're all full of themselves. I mean, so you kind of get the point there that no matter what Ben would have done, no matter what Reed would have done, he would have still went off to bed and became Dr. Doom and put on a mask and.
Yeah.
He would have gone through all that regardless of the math being. Well, Reed tells him, well, if he was any kind of a scientist, he would have double-checked his math, and he wouldn't have went through with the experiment. Right. He should have caught it, so it would have been his fault anyway. But, yeah, that was a great issue of that. Fraction is killing it on Fantastic Four, by the way.
I agree.
What do you got, Spin? What's your pick of the week?
My first pick, and you all know I kind of like to pick the books off the beaten path, so to speak. I liked this week, and I love it every week that it comes out, is Cable and X-Force. I absolutely love Cable and X-Force, and I'll tell you this, I'm kind of a precursor. All the books I've picked this week have kind of this, for me, had a very strong impact with either the words or something that happened in the book. So in Cable and X-Force, what really got me is that the Uncanny Avengers are on the hunt for Cable and his team. And if you don't read Cable and the X-Force, the team is Cable, it's Cable, Domino, Colossus, Forge, Boom Boom, and Dr. Nemesis. Is that who it is? Let me make sure on that, or otherwise I'm going to get the Twitter fanboys all going crazy.
Is that one crossing over with Uncanny X-Force at all? Or is it just
Dr. Nemesis? No, Uncanny. Well, it's kind of like it's they haven't been in the Uncanny Avengers book yet. Or are you talking about the Uncanny X-Force?
Uncanny X-Force. Is that crossing over with Cable and X-Force at all?
No, that hasn't crossed over. But the scene in this, I don't know if you guys have read this yet, this week. There's a scene in it, Rogue, the Uncanny Avengers are flying to where Cable and his team are hiding out, and they're hiding out on, the old Indian reservation that Forge lived on. And Rogue is talking with Havoc, and she basically asks him, is this really a job for the Avengers? Is going out and capturing Cable really a job for the Avengers? And Havoc goes, look, my brother is running around with an X on his head touting about a mutant revolution. He's like, the name Summers has been drugged through the mud enough. I don't need my vigilante nephew causing any more problems. And that to me really resonated for the reasons of that Havoc is kind of looking at it from a family standpoint. Because you think about it, there's currently I'll count 5 Summers currently within the Marvel Universe. You've got the 2 Cyclopses, you've got Havoc, you've got Cable, and you've got Rachel Summers over with Wolverine and the self X-Men title. But really, it's like Havoc is not only trying to lead this team of human and mutants to kind of coexist. He's trying to rebuild the family name of Summers, and to me that really struck with me because we saw an all new X-Men with him meeting the younger Scott and talking with the younger Scott, and for so long it seemed like Scott was kind of the more adult member of the family, and Alex was kind of like especially in the early days of when Havoc, Alex was more the youngster, and now it's like Alex is stepping up to be kind of the Summers patriarch. So I really enjoyed that. I love that Cable, that they're doing more with Hope Summers, and she's trying to find Cable and trying to figure out why he's having these visions. And that the biggest thing is that Cable's team they're together with him. They're with him through the end. So really spectacular.
But it is crossing over with Uncanny. It is crossing over with Uncanny Avengers, though, right?
Yeah. Maybe
with
not
Havoc and everything. Oh, then
not in the
then I'm gonna have to start getting that soon.
Yeah, not in the main Uncanny Avengers books, but yeah, you can see right here the Uncanny Avengers have been in the last. I think they've been in the last 2 issues. They've been in quite a few of the issues.
It's got to tie in somewhere.
Abigail Brand and Sword has been in the issues. Shield has been in the issues. And basically, Cable is stating his team is the team that does what nobody else can do. They break the law, but they're doing good.
Abigail Brand right there also appears in Avengers Assemble this week. In case you were
everywhere.
She's everywhere. So for me, that's one of my picks of the week is Cable and X-Force. I think it's a solid title that just keeps getting better and better.
I am going to get it now because now that I know that
me too.
The Uncanny Avengers have been in it, I need to catch up.
Jules,
I've actually been wanting to.
All right.
Yeah, pick it up. It's on issue 10. This is the current issue 10. Pick it up. It's really an excellent story because not only do you have Cable, you have Colossus trying to atone for what he did during the Avengers versus X-Men series. So Colossus is trying to atone for it. Dr. Nemesis is hilarious. He is just hilarious in it. Domino sticking by Cable. She's always been a longtime running partner of Cable. And then Forge. And there is a love romance scene between Colossus and Domino. I mean, it's a great book. And in fact, 2 issues ago, when you saw the cover, which I'm not sure. Let me see if it's over here real quick, and so I can show you the cover of this book because it was just simply fantastic. Where are you, Cable? There you are.
I got a lot of Cable, old Cable though, like 90s Cable.
Cable number 7 was one of the coolest covers. I absolutely love this cover.
Yeah.
Cable and X-Force number 7. It's Cyclops.
I love the new Cyclops.
It says Daddy's home. And he goes and talks to Cable. So I
love the new Cyclops with the X on his head. That's awesome.
So it has tied into all the Cable has a run-in with all the X-Men. So Cable and X-Force. Jules,
indeed,
you're up.
Jules, your second pick.
Yep.
So should I go with Fantastic Four then, or since we talked about it, or go
with another one since we already talked about it.
Okay. Sorry.
That's how we work it.
So.
And it does good because that means we can get all of our feelings out at once instead of going.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to go back and confuse people.
I can't see you guys. I have a hard time talking when I can't see you.
Are we gone?
Oh, we're not on?
Yeah, you're not on.
Did we disappear?
I still got all
You're
three.
gone.
I still got the both of you.
Okay, I'll wing it. So
We'll be
my
back.
second pick is... You're still there? I think I lost.
We're still here.
Okay, yeah.
Are we there?
Okay,
I'm here.
I couldn't hear anything for a second. It like went blank. Okay, so sorry. So my second pick is A plus X number 9. Thanks to Spin Dash, I now pick this book up. And Space Chief, you have to get this too, because I think you would really like the stories in it.
I gotta get the last two, actually. I still want the Deadpool Hawkeye story.
Yeah, that's the one that I started with, actually. So I read that one. I read this one, so I'm behind too. And then I actually picked up the first one, thinking it was a new one for some reason, because I was like, oh, I can't remember. It was the Hulk.
The Wolverine Hulk one.
I think it was. And I was like, oh, this is a new one.
I have a Wolverine. I think
number
that's the
one.
one I have. I think I have that. Is it number one with the Wolverine Hulk?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have that one.
Hold on.
I've got the first one a long time ago.
I'm glad I moved my long boxes so I could just sit here and see what all is in here.
Yeah, so I picked.
Is that where they come back from the
new
future?
Yeah.
Here's number 1.
Yep.
They come back from the future and it's old Hulk and old Wolverine?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I have that issue. And then I didn't get it anymore after that. I don't know why I didn't get it. I'll have to catch up.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Jules.
absolutely,
I fed into your thing.
No, you're good. No, you're fine. But yeah, so this, I laughed so hard. Of course, I love Wolverine. He's like my new favorite person. And I've always liked Captain America. Captain America's, always good. And there's a line in here where they're like being attacked and Captain America's like, oh, you can't kill it, and Wolverine's like, are you kidding me? They're trying to kill us. We have to kill it. So, and then he makes a joke about Captain America's shield is like, I can't remember how he puts it, but he's like, something about his bottle cap.
Yeah, he's like, throw that bottle cap at it.
Funny. Yeah. And then like Captain America was trying to give him telling him what to do. And he's like, no.
He's like, I'm not one of your,
I don't think so.
He's like, I'm not one of your commandos.
Yeah.
You can't order me around, Captain America.
Yeah, I'm not one of your commandos. You can't order me around. That's exactly what he says. So that was really funny. Just between the two of them when they're talking to each other, it's so funny. And they're fighting these, it says Captain America and Wolverine animal cruelty. This is what it says. But, they're fighting these huge, snakes and,
snakes, ants.
It's
a chimp,
yeah, the ants, and that's what he was saying.
A monkey.
It's just full of clarity, the whole entire thing. But yeah, and then that's what he's talking about, how he wouldn't think twice if he stepped on them, because he's saying how don't hurt them. This is just hilarious. So yeah, that was the first story, and then the second story in here was it was a team up with iBoy and Pixie and Quentin. And that one I liked too. I like that one as well. I didn't like it as well as the first one. I know Spin Dash liked it a lot. I did like it. It was cute because they were trying to see who could get the best steal the best, I don't know, artifact, what do you call it?
Yeah, steal the best artifact from from the Sanctum Sanctorum.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
They actually break into the Sanctum Sanctorum to steal things from Doctor Strange.
Yeah, so it was funny. I did like it. I love the art too. The art's really great in this. So this is one of my favorite, every time I read it, even when I read the last issue with Deadpool and Wolverine, I was just cracking up. I mean, it's so funny. They're so real and they, it's great. So this is, definitely have to get this one. Number 9.
I will definitely pick it up. I need to get the last two of those.
Yeah, this series, and I'll go through them real quick. it's an Avengers X-Men team up. So you had number 1, which was Wolverine and Hulk and Captain America and Cable. Number 2 was
I've got that one.
Number 2 was Rogue and Black Widow, Kitty Pryde and Iron Man.
Oh, nice.
Number 3, which I love.
I remember that one coming out.
Number 3 was Storm and Black Panther. And Hawkeye and Gambit.
That's cool.
Then you had Spider-Man.
I bet I could get all those undercover.
You had Spider-Man and Beast, Captain America and Quentin Queer.
I remember that cover with the Beast, Spider-Man on Beast's back.
Iron Fist and Dupe. And Kid Loki and Mr. Sinister.
Who wrote the Kid Loki story?
I'd have to open it up and see. I'd have to open it up and see.
I was going to say, did Gillen write it?
I'm not sure.
Didn't Gillen create Kid Loki?
Then you had Wolverine and Captain Marvel. And Thing and Gambit. Now, this one, Chief, is the one I think you really need to get, number 6. You'll laugh at both stories. Both stories are absolutely hilarious.
And Wolverine's in almost all of those.
Yeah,
he's in it more than
Captain America. Then there was Thor and Iceman. And then, of course,
that's just one story?
I think there's 2 in there, but it wasn't shown on the cover. And then the 2, the Kitty Pryde, Spider-Woman, Deadpool, Hawkeye. So that's all of A+X.
That's the one I was wanting to get.
But what I loved about this one, what I really loved about the current issue is the fact that there was a lot of Doctor Strange in the 2 stories. Mm-hmm. And yes, I liked the second story because Pixie has always been one of my favorite X-Men, because she's a daughter of Mastermind. She's actually the stepsister, the half-sister to the current Mastermind we're seeing in all new X-Men. And what I was really hoping for, fanboyish, is they had a bet that if Quentin Queer stole the best artifact, that Pixie had to wear a bikini to school the next day. And I'm just sitting there going, if I lived in the X-Men universe, I would take that action. But I like the fact that it was 2 stories that had Doctor Strange in it. And I thought the banter between Captain America and Wolverine was fantastic. I thought it was really good. And especially because and we'll get to that, but I read Uncanny Avengers before I read A+X. So if you've read Uncanny Avengers, you know where I'm going with this, with Captain America and Wolverine. And we'll talk about that when we get there. We'll talk about that when we get there.
I feel like I need to buy it.
But yeah, excellent book. Good job, Jules.
Thanks.
All right, Chief, next.
And now, speak of the devil, Uncanny Avengers is my, what is it? How many picks is it? My 3rd pick?
Yeah.
This is awesome for 2 reasons, I think. Well, you've got the Apocalypse Twins, which are terrifying that they can rip the chests out of Celestials. So with Thor's axe, of course, an Asgardian weapon. But the fact that these dudes are running around killing Celestials is tripping me out harder than anything that Thanos is about to do in Infinity. So I think this is the story to beat this summer, I think, for Marvel. I don't know about Infinity's probably going to be awesome, but this right here is the story to beat with the Apocalypse Twins. The stuff that goes on between, is it Rogue and Scarlet Witch have the big debate in the Danger Room about how it shouldn't be about, like they bring up the debate, why doesn't somebody like the Wasp or somebody who got their powers later on in their life, why are they not persecuted like a mutant who's born with it? And it's all about perception, and there's this big dialogue between Rogue and Scarlet Witch about how you shouldn't judge people based on human or mutant or whatever. You should be people should be judged individually on the merit of their person. So I thought that was a good speech. And then you get to what Steve's talking about with Cap and Wolverine throw down in this book like you haven't seen before. And surprisingly, Wolverine kind of backs off and kind of limps away from this one a little bit, I thought. But because, I mean, what Captain America is saying is essentially true. But then when Thor kind of comes to Wolverine's defense and is like, you know, he's a warrior and said, I know Logan's an honorable man and he's a warrior, and sometimes warriors have to do what's necessary and not necessarily what's pretty, you know. So this storyline, this arc in Uncanny Avengers with the Apocalypse Twins is the arc to be reading right now.
What is great though was seeing who sided with Wolverine and who sided with essentially Captain America and Wasp, because Wasp was originally the one that kind of called Wolverine out. You know, she called it out. But it was nice. It was cool to see who walked away with Wolverine. And especially Thor coming to Wolverine's aid. Because if you read the story, Thor is not in. He even says it. Wolverine's blame is just as much as mine. Because of Thor's involvement in bringing forth what's happening with the Celestials. And what I really loved, there was a couple points I loved. That was my major point, was the Wolverine against Cap. Actually 3 points. The other one, this was a small panel, but I loved it when Wonder Man and Wolverine, I think it was Wolverine, called Beast. And Beast is like,
that's
like,
funny too.
Is that Wonder Man? I didn't see my caller ID come up with washed up film actor.
Yeah. He's like, at least I'm not a furry blue monkey or something.
And I love that, because if you've read comics back in the 80s and 90s, Wonder Man and Beast were like best friends. They were really good friends. So it's good to see that banter between them. But the third point is the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
Oh, yeah. That's the reveal, though. I don't know if you should reveal it too much more.
I don't think I should reveal it.
For people who...
But tell me.
For people like me.
Chief, when you saw the lineup of the new 4 horsemen, didn't your mind kind of explode?
Yeah, it's going to be crazy, man. What's going on now? Jules, you got to get this arc. It's a good one to start on right now.
Yeah.
Number 9. Start with number
9. Okay.
You could go... Number 9 is where you can start, but you can go back and get other ones. It's all been good so far, but...
I want to say start with 7.
When did it start? About 7?
6 or 7?
About 7. You would have to go all the way back to the beginning, because...
look for the cover of Thor on the cover with this is probably 6. I think it's 6. Thor on the cover with Apocalypse behind him. That'll be the start of this arc. Fantastic.
Don't worry about the first 5, though, because it's all just setting up the team, and there's some stuff with Red Skull, and it wasn't all that great. But it started getting really, really, really good right around 6.
Which leads me to something, though, Chief. You've followed it since the beginning like I have, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
The end of the Red Skull arc. The last page.
I didn't know it was over. It just started some other thing, didn't it?
I know.
He was still alive. They never caught him.
That's what I say. Remember and I can reveal this. The last page at the end of the Red Skull arc had the Red Skull had kidnapped Charles Xavier and transplanted part of Charles Xavier's brain into his head. So the Red Skull has Charles Xavier.
Yeah, he took his power.
The last panel of that story arc is like the future with the Red Skull as Onslaught. The Red Skull was Onslaught.
Yeah, but they never.
And nothing.
They've never gone back to it.
I'm sitting there going, oh my God, this is going to be fantastic. And then we get this new story, and I'm just sitting there going, excuse me, you forgot Onslaught.
Yeah.
Onslaught.
It was almost like they got tired of Red Skull and decided let's not worry about that. Let's go on with the Apocalypse. Although they could bring this around full circle and tie it in with the Apocalypse twist story.
It could just be as the nostalgia chick says, a big-lipped alligator moment. If you don't know that reference, go watch the nostalgia chick, and you'll see what I mean by that.
I just heard it on Nostalgia Critic because he always throws it up all the time since she doesn't.
Good. All right, am I up?
I believe so. That was Uncanny Avengers number 9, by the way.
All right, this one.
For those keeping score at home.
Considering one of my picks was Uncanny Avengers, but I'm going to talk about this one. I hope you both have read it because this one to me was so powerful.
I got 2 stacks. I got to see which one I'm going for.
Batman and Batgirl.
That was.
Boom. Yeah, it was good.
I talked with my.
It wasn't one of my picks of the week, but I loved it.
It was my next pick.
I talked with my comic book guy about it, and he's kind of on the fence. He said he's not really a fan because everything what he says, and I kind of see where he's coming from with this, and I kind of agree to it an extent, is everything that is going on currently with Bruce and Batman in the wake of the death of Damian, we have kind of seen before when Jason Todd died. When Jason died, we saw Batman get a little reckless, a little more brooding. But I think with Damian, it's a little more hits more home because it is his son. And really, since the death of the family arc, when they started doing, starting off with Batman and Red Robin, and then Batman and Red Hood, and now Batman and Batgirl, this has really become one of my pretty much my favorite Batman book right now, because I love seeing the 7 stages of grief with Bruce. I love seeing that, and with this, we got like a 2-sided story. We got Batgirl and her guilt over what she did to her brother, and what she did to her family, and then we're getting Bruce and his grief over Damian. And really, he's just become reckless. He doesn't care. He's just going in and beating people, and it's like he's looking for trouble. I think like this happens in like one night, and he just goes from one place to another, just beating criminals from one place to another. And what I really loved was the final part when she meets him in the Batcave and confronts him.
Oh, but before that, when he sees her out fighting, and he says, "I see you tore the bat symbol off your chest."
Yeah.
And he's mad, and he just leaves her there and doesn't say anything.
And then when she goes...
And you can tell that he's got some grief right there. Yeah. He's mad because she took the bat symbol.
And then when she's in the cave, and he basically said, he's like, I don't need to listen to someone who no longer wears the symbol. Mm-hmm. And then the most powerful moment I thought was when she smashes the case, holding Damian's suit, holds it in front of him and says, "I don't know if I can even wear my own uniform anymore. If I am worthy to wear my own uniform, but if you need a Robin that badly, I'll do it. Just all you have to do is ask, and I'll do it." I felt that for 2 reasons was very, very powerful. One, for the fact of Barbara's uncertainty with herself right now after what she did. That she does not think she should not be Batgirl. She should not be wearing the mantle after what she did. But also the point that she realizes Bruce needs a Robin by his side. He needs someone with him when he's out there to watch over him and be with him. And for her to say, "I'll denounce Batgirl and I'll become Robin for you."
Yeah.
I thought that was so powerful in its delivery.
Well, if she could have seen what he did with Red Hood, when he told Red Hood, "I want you with me because of those guns, because you're who you are, and I don't know if I can do what needs to be done." If she could have seen him then, she might have had second thoughts, because Bruce Wayne is just becoming unraveled all around.
Well,
like from kidnapping Frankenstein to try to get the secret of life out of him, and taking Red Hood on a kill mission. I mean, that's Bruce becoming unraveled and losing sight of what the bad means himself. So I think if she could have been privy to that information of what he's been up to for the last few issues, she might not have ripped that bat symbol off her chest so quick.
Yeah.
I just think it's really heartbreaking to see him this way, too. Like, just so, sad out of it. Just grief-stricken. And it's really good that she, she's there trying to help him get over this, I mean, it might not be what he wants right now, but it's what he needs for right now. But I thought that the part that you were talking about when she did that, I was like, oh my gosh, like I thought he was gonna, like, I don't know what I was gonna do, but that was crazy. She was really brave.
I was waiting for him to just go nuts, because I mean nobody ever touched Jason's Robin costume. Nobody touched Jason's costume, but for her to break out and shove Damian's costume in his face, I thought he was just going to lose it. I thought he was just going to go nuts.
Well, he kind of does. He screams, "Get out of here now!" at her, and she leaves.
She got off easy there.
She did.
But he also said
he didn't punch his fist through a motorcycle helmet with her.
I'm looking at it right now. I just pulled it out because there was something at the very end I wanted to talk about too. But when he says it's not a uniform, it's a shroud that my son got impaled like a stuck pig in. He's like, he is getting angrier and angrier, and then he does finally lose it and tell her to leave.
Yeah.
At the end. But the thing I'm wondering about is this hint at Catwoman in the next issue of this. Yeah. Like, aren't her brains all over the floor somewhere in a mansion in JLA?
She's okay now.
Well,
apparently she can get over gunshot wounds.
Her brains are splattered in a mansion in JLA, but she's also fighting the Penguins gang in her own self-titled book.
Yeah, well, what's going on there? I will never talk about Wolverine again after this Catwoman arc.
Yeah.
Well, I think Catwoman, like I told you, I think Red Hood was probably the most powerful because of him and Jason finally getting their grievances out. I think Catwoman is going to she's going to try to reach Bruce on that different level than the Bat family has so far, because she has a different relationship with Bruce.
That, or she's going to lay on the floor with her brain spilling out of her head. For the entire issue. Just for her in the corner like this the whole time.
With a dirt face.
Just kind of propped up in the Batmobile, like over to the side.
Maybe it's going to be like in Sin City. It's going to be like in Sin City when they kill Jackie Boy, and he's in the car with the corpse of Jackie Boy, and the corpse is talking to him.
I forgot all about that scene. Oh my gosh.
Bruce Wayne's crazy enough for that to go down.
Well, speaking of crazy,
I would read that. That would be good, actually. If Bruce Wayne just flipped out and drove around with the corpse of Catwoman all night and talked to it, and it talked back to him with like a flappy, yapping, dead head, that would be the craziest Batman story ever.
And it starts off with him talking.
I bet it would be number one. It would sell out.
It starts off with him talking, and then she just kind of turns over and goes, "Do you have any aspirin? I've got a headache." And it shows the bullet wound right through her head.
Brains.
But more than that,
that's nothing any worse than it was in Blackest Night.
That's true. But I mean, that's going to be good. But I'm really waiting. After Catwoman, we're going to get Batman and Nightwing.
Yeah, that's the one I'm waiting for. That's the one I'm more excited about.
I think that one's going to be the most powerful of them all.
I think it will be too. Dick Grayson is easily as screwed up or more so than Bruce Wayne. I think the two of them getting it out is going to be insane. That's going to be like they're like I mean, they're entwined since the beginning of Batman time, you know. So that's going to be the one that's going to be the most powerful. I wouldn't be surprised if that's like not a double-sized issue, that one. It probably won't be, but it should be.
So Batman and Batgirl, Batman and Robin number 21. Go out and get that. I know, honestly, I like this arc better already. I've liked this arc. I don't think Zero Year even can hold a candle to this arc at this moment in time, because this arc is so powerful. And I'm not taking away from Zero Year with the issue that came out, but this is continuing what is supposed to be continuing in Batman, and it's just so good, So
I read all the Bat titles except for Batwing.
Yeah, I don't get Batwing. I don't think we're going to see a Batman Superman next week is going to be good.
Yes, I signed up for that already. Jay Lee on the cover. Is he doing the artwork inside too? I'm not sure. But Jay Lee is a master. That dude is awesome.
So good. All right, Chief, do you have anything else for us tonight?
I am debating. I have two, and I don't want to run too long, so I'm just going to pick the one that I like the best, and I'll throw up the other one as honorable mention. I won't really go into it. But my honorable mention was Morbius this week with the guest star of The Superior. And I'm really liking where this is going. I think the Rose is a madman who's playing with stuff that is really dangerous, like ultimate nullifying dangerous, as you'll see. But that's not the one I want to talk about. This one I need to talk about because, Jules, you need to get this. This is the Daredevil Indestructible Hulk arc, and this is the first one of this arc. And it is so awesome because Matt Murdock is Bruce Banner's lawyer. And if you've been following Indestructible Hulk, he joined S.H.I.E.L.D., and his conditions with the S.H.I.E.L.D. director, Hill, was you give me a lab, all the money I need that I could ever use to run it, and I will give you a new energy source a week. And he says, I'm tired of guys like Stark and Richards stealing all my thunder because I'm smarter than both of them. And he's a real cocky Bruce Banner in this story, or in this comic. And now he's called in Matt Murdock because he thinks that I think it's something that he's thinking that they abusing him his contract or whatever. Because he said, and if you have a major problem in the world, I'll be the Hulk. I'll be your personal WMD, and you can just point me at whatever you want destroyed, and I'll destroy it in exchange for giving me this lab and all this stuff. But he's got Matt Murdock as his lawyer, who shows up in this issue, and because he's his lawyer and spent so much time with the Hulk, he can calm the Hulk down when he starts getting too aggressive and too ragey, and he can bring him back to Banner. And that's a trick he lets S.H.I.E.L.D. in on. Is like the more Banner trusts you, the more the green guy will trust you, and you can calm him down. So since Banner really trusts him as his personal lawyer, Daredevil is able to calm the Hulk when he flies into a rage. And this is just a really good Daredevil Hulk team up. It's really awesome. They go into this like seedy kind of bar at one point, and Daredevil walks in, and all the guys are gonna kill him. They're all like mobsters and gunmen and stuff, and like right behind them, just walking through the frame of the door and everything, the Hulk just walks in right behind him, like tears the whole front off the bar, and like nobody's gonna dare try to shoot at the Hulk. But they're trying to track this this alien weaponry or something. But I recommend this to you, Jules, since you love Daredevil. Daredevil is really, really awesome in this issue, and it's going to continue. I don't know how many issues, but he's in the next one too, at least. And so my pick is my number one pick of the week is Indestructible Hulk, number 9. I think, am I the only one that read that this week?
Yeah, I'll get that.
Yeah.
Though.
It's good though. This would be a good one because this is this brand new arc that just started in number 9. So anything that came before it's kind of.
Now, my last ones.
That sounds good.
My last ones are, of course, I'm not going to go in too deep with this one. I'm just going to show it and mention it. course, everybody knows how much I love the Worlds Collide saga with Sonic the Hedgehog. So Sonic Universe, Part 8 of the Worlds Collide, Sonic Universe number 53, with the Evil Friends Forever variant playing their Xbox. Go pick it up. But I think now it's time for me and us to cheese off the Twitterverse. And we will cheese off the Twitterverse because I want to talk about Age of Ultron. Book number 10. Now, Jules, yours is in the mail. It's on its way.
I have mine. Mine is.
Okay.
Thank
Yes,
you.
mine is out of the bag. I took mine out of the bag. I have another one with the bag.
Where is it? I don't know. Mine's in the closet, I think, already. Let's see. No, wait, maybe it's here. I still have mine in the bag, but I did buy it digitally, and I read it digital, so I can just only reference this black bag here. but I have read it. I read it on Comixology.
I might have to do that because I can't wait, but I do want the physical copy because then I have the whole. I don't know. Maybe I'll wait.
Oh yeah, you got it. You got to have it if you got the whole thing.
For some reason, people are complaining about this story arc. And honestly, what did you want? I mean, what did you want?
That's a good question.
What, did you want it like the Young Avengers movie where Ultron takes over and it's the Young Avengers and an old Tony Stark and an old Hulk that has to beat Ultron? Is that what you want? Or maybe it was this, maybe you were mad that Wolverine was kind of the star of Age of Ultron, that Wolverine had a huge part in Age of Ultron. Maybe you didn't like the way Sue Richards was portrayed. Maybe you didn't like that it was Age of Ultron, and then all of a sudden there's Morgan Le Fay with Asgard. Maybe you didn't like how many Wolverines it was in. Maybe. I mean, people saying that the storyline was not bad, but it wasn't great. It wasn't worth your money. People saying, there was too many Wolverines. It's confusing. We don't know what Wolverine did what. Do I have to write?
My thing was at the very beginning, you didn't know. I was confused as to what Spider-Man we were talking about. Because in some of the early issues of Age of Ultron, he's Peter Parker-like.
Peter Parker.
And from what I've heard is something to do with Bendis didn't correct the scripts after Slott did the Superior arc for Spider-Man. Like, this has been in the works for a while, and I guess Bendis didn't change the script or something in the early issues from Pete to Doc Ock. But aside from that, this is it's probably the most important series that Marvel is going to put. Infinity's coming, but who knows? I mean, they've already done Thanos and Infinity. I mean, this was an event, a Marvel event. And anytime you have a Marvel event, it's going to change the Marvel Universe and possibly the multiple Marvel Universes for a really long time. Stuff in this will be impacting, your kids' comics one day. And so to tell somebody that it wasn't necessary to read or that it's a waste of money, that's just wrong. And anyone who reads comics should know that that's wrong. If you've ever read like Civil War or the Secret Wars, or you've read any of the Infinity Saga, or you've read any of these big Marvel events that have House of M, all these different Marvel events that they've had over the the last 2 or 3 decades, and to say any one of those didn't change the Marvel universe in some way is ridiculous. So, I mean, I haven't read all of those. I haven't read every Marvel event. But when they come around and I can read them, I do. So for somebody to suggest on Twitter that you're wasting your money and not reading this, you're shooting yourself in the foot if you don't read this. If you're a fan of Marvel and you don't read Age of Ultron, you've just lost about, I don't know how many months this has been going on, but all of that continuity changing stuff that happened in this series, you're not going to know about it.
Well,
so
look at it.
That was just wrong, in my opinion.
You referenced a Marvel event. Let's think about this for a second. What did we get from Secret Wars? We got something very important from Secret Wars. We got the symbiote suit from Secret Wars. That event changed Spider-Man's life because in the first Secret Wars...
Magma was created.
Magma was created. Without Secret Wars, there would never have been Venom, first and foremost. You never would have had the Venom symbiote, which means you never would have had Maximum Carnage because the symbiote never would have broken off and get the Maximum Carnage. The Infinity Gauntlet, Warlock, all these events, Civil War changed so much. House of M with no more mutants and 97% of the mutant population getting depowered. And then Avengers versus X-Men, where now the mutants are getting their powers back. Mutants are springing up again. Events like Schism when the two X-Men teams split apart. To say Age of Ultron is not worth your money, I mean, come on. And I think I saw somebody put down that finally Hank Pym is getting some respect. Okay. We all know that
he was kind of a he's kind of a non-player in the story until I don't want to ruin it for anybody.
Until this last issue. But I
didn't see how much respect he really got.
I mean, to me,
Wolverine that got the respect.
I'm not saying anything bad about Ant-Man. I'm not saying anything bad about Ant-Man, but I mean, come on. To me, Ant-Man, the one thing that always sticks out in my mind with Ant-Man is when he slaps Wasp across the face. All them years ago. And Pym, I mean, not taking anything away from Hank Pym, but in this book, you got to give it up to Wolverine. He took matters into his own hands, and when he realized what happened because of it, he went back and he changed things. He tried to rectify his mistake. And I don't care how many Wolverines there are in the Marvel Universe. I really don't care. I don't care how many clones of Wolverine there are. I don't care where Daken is or X-23. Everybody knows that Wolverine can argue.
Daken's laying dead in a stream.
Yeah. But
full of his own blood. 3 claw marks through his head.
Arguably, Wolverine is one of, if not the most popular Marvel characters aside from, I would go with Spider-Man. Wolverine and Spider-Man to me are always flip-flopping between 1 and 2. But this story...
I think Space Chief and I were...
Go ahead, Jules. Go ahead. I'm rambling. Go ahead. I'm just fuming.
We were in the last issue, I think it was the last issue, where Wolverine killed himself.
Yeah.
We were talking about how... when I first seen that, I was like... that didn't really happen. Like, how could he do that? And then Jason was saying that he didn't know that was even possible. Now he does, and I didn't know. It was just funny because he would take it so far to even kill himself. Like,
I was going to point that out too.
What more of a loyal superhero do you want? I mean.
Well, it goes back to what Thor says about him in Uncanny Avengers. It says that he's a warrior of the highest honor.
Yeah.
And that sometimes warriors have to do things that aren't necessarily pretty. And that Logan's lived an honorable life, but he's done some hard things. And knifing himself has got to be up there. And leaving himself in a cave to rot. For anybody who watches Panel to Panel and whoever watches this show, and you've seen me before, just know I will not be shaving any of this until after I see Spider-Man 2 in 2014. So as you will watch over the next few episodes of Review Board, of the Pull List, or Panel to Panel, this beard will grow longer and longer until I'm at like wizard style. And when Spider-Man 2 comes out, when Amazing Spider-Man 2 comes out in 2014, I am going to go to the movie, and I will immediately come home and shave, and I will weigh the hair, and we will see how much beard I grew from now until the next Spider-Man movie comes out.
So from all of us here with the Comic Book Glare, this meeting of the Review Board is adjourned.